Welcome to AF Tales. Today's story is about a husband whose wife decides she settled after seeing her friend's rich lifestyle and almost throws away their marriage chasing status. As you listen, think about the moment where you would have drawn the line. My wife said, "I regret marrying you." I replied, "Then leave Sable." Then I left, met her friend's husband, learned their mansion was built on debt, and I had to decide if my plumber life was the downgrade or the stability worth fighting for. I am Cole, 35, a licensed master plumber in Denver. I have been doing this work for almost 15 years. I own a small business with a couple of guys working for me. I make around $75,000 a year. It is not flashy, but it is honest, steady money. My wife Sable is 34. We have been married for 5 years, together for 7. She works in retail management at Nordstrom. We own a modest house in a decent neighborhood. We have savings, take a nice trip once a year, and live without much debt besides the mortgage. I always thought we had a good, simple life. About a month ago, Sable ran into an old college friend, Tessa. Tessa is one of those people who looks like a lifestyle ad. Her husband, Hunter, owns an engineering firm. They live in a big house in Cherry Hills with mountain views, designer furniture, the whole picture. Sable came home excited, scrolling through Tessa's social media. Perfect kitchen, perfect kids, perfect outfits. I was happy she reconnected with someone. I know retail can be draining, and Sable has always been the pretty one, the one people expect big things from. At first it felt harmless. Then the comments started. Tessa's husband takes her to Aspen every other weekend. Her kitchen renovation cost more than our whole house. I would say, good for them, and move on. A lot of people compare behind closed doors. The danger is when those comparisons start to become the standard. Last weekend, we were invited to dinner at their place. The house was exactly what I expected. Huge, professionally decorated, with a view that probably added $1 million to the price by itself. Tessa talked most of the night about vacation homes, private schools, charity boards. Hunter sat mostly quiet, polite, but distant. On the drive home, Sable had been drinking a little, not out of control but loose enough that filters were gone. Out of nowhere, she asked, "Why did you never try to do more with your life?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" "You are smart. You could have gone to college, started a bigger business, made real money. Why did you settle for just being a plumber?" It felt like a slap. I tried to stay calm. "I make good money. We are comfortable," she scoffed. "Comfortable is not the same as successful. Hunter's company made $8 million last year. We cannot all be Hunter." "That is the problem," she said, looking out the window. "We cannot all be Hunter. Some of us are stuck with men who do not even try to be. Sometimes you can feel a crack open in real time." This was the first one. The rest of the drive was silent. I told myself it was the alcohol, that she would be embarrassed in the morning. She was not. All week, little jabs. "Do you not want more out of life than fixing toilets?" Tessa's husband takes her to New York for her birthday. We went to that same cabin again. "Maybe you should think about going back to school or something." This is how resentment often shows up, not as one big fight, but as drip, drip, drip. Yesterday was the breaking point. I came home from a rough job, backed up sewer main. The kind of work that pays well because nobody wants to do it. Even after showering at the shop, I still felt like the smell clung to me. I was tired and just wanted to sit down. Sable was at the kitchen table, staring at her phone. She barely looked up. "Rough day?" I asked, trying to connect. "Not really, just thinking." "About what?" She put the phone down, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "About whether marrying you was the biggest mistake of my life." I felt my stomach drop. "What?" "Tessa said something today that hit me," she continued. "Women need to know their worth and not settle. And looking at you coming home smelling like sewage for 15 years, I realized that is what I did. I settled." I just stood there. This was not a drunk slip. She was sober and calm. She had decided I was beneath her. "I am going out," I said finally. I grabbed my keys before I said something I could not take back. I drove to my buddy Blake's place. He has worked with me for years. I told him what happened. "Dude, you know Hunter's company is in trouble, right?" Blake said. "I had no idea." "What do you mean?" "My cousin works for one of their suppliers. Hunter's been missing payments. He laid off half his staff. Guy is drowning in debt trying to look rich on paper." It did not match the image we had just seen at that mansion, but I trust Blake. He is not one to gossip for fun. That night I got a hotel room. First time in our marriage that I did not sleep at home. Sable called and texted a lot. The tone shifted quickly from angry to scared. I needed space. The next morning I went home. Sable was in pajamas, eyes red. The moment I walked in, she grabbed me. "I am so sorry," she sobbed. "I did not mean it." The thing is, when someone repeats the same idea over and over, it is not a slip, it is a belief. "Sit down," I said. "We need to talk." In the living room, I asked, "What is really going on? This is not just about my job." She took a breath. "It is seeing Tessa again. She has everything I thought I would have by now. The house, the lifestyle, the status. In college, everyone thought I would be the successful one. And I am holding you back," I asked. "No, I mean. Sometimes I wonder what life would be like if I had married someone more ambitious. Like Hunter." The name landed differently now that I had Blake's information in my head. "Is that what Tessa has been feeding you?" I asked. "That you should have married someone like Hunter?" "Not exactly," she said. "She talks about knowing your worth, not settling, about how women limit themselves by picking safe partners. And you think you settled for me?" She did not answer right away. That pause said more than words. "Sable, I need to know, are you embarrassed by what I do?" She looked down. "Sometimes. When I told Tessa you are a plumber, I saw pity in her eyes." I kept my voice steady. "I make more than a lot of college grads. We own our home. We do not live on credit. What exactly is the part you think is not good enough?" "It is not just money, it is status," she said. "Tessa does not have to explain her husband's job to anyone." "So that is what you think I do," I said. "Just unclog toilets. I run a business. I employ people. You get to work a job you like because I keep us stable. I have never once questioned your work." She cried and blamed Tessa's influence, but even while apologizing, she kept sliding in comments about my potential. After that talk, I slept in the guest room. The air between us was thick and cold. The next day, I called my brother Mike. He is a financial advisor. "Can you check Hunter's company for me?" I asked. 2 days later, he called back. "It is bad. Staff cut by 60%, missed loan payments, building lien. He is one step from bankruptcy." Then Hunter himself called. "Can we meet man to man?" he asked. "I need to talk to you about something." We met at a bar. He looked tired, older than he had at that dinner. "I know what Tessa is saying to your wife, and I am sorry," he said. "We are a month from bankruptcy, house in foreclosure, cars going back. She is recruiting landing spots for when it all falls apart." He took a sip of his drink. "She is jealous of your stability. She has been poisoning your wife because she cannot stand the idea that someone else's life is actually secure while hers is on fire." He showed me his phone. "I have screenshots, text statements. She calls you a loser in some of them." "You want the proof?" I sat there, staring at his phone. Part of me wanted to know everything. Part of me did not want to see my wife's words in black and white. I told him I would think about it. When I got home, Sable was excited. "Tessa invited me to their lake house this weekend," she said. "Just us girls and a few of her friends. Hunter will be out of town." The timing was too neat. "Sounds fun," I said, but inside I felt the ground shift again. That night in the guest room, I stared at the ceiling and realized I was at a fork. Stay blind and hope this blows over, or face the truth even if it hurts. The next morning, I texted Hunter. "Send me everything." Hours later, my phone lit up with a file so big I had to pull into a parking lot to open it. Messages between Tessa and Sable started off normal, then slowly turned sharp. "What are you doing with a plumber? You could have had anyone." "Sometimes I wonder if I settled," Sable typed back weeks later. "Cole is never going to be ambitious." Tessa told her exactly what to say to test me. Some of the same lines Sable had used at home were word for word from Tessa. There were other chats too. Tessa running this same script on 3 other wives while having an affair with someone saved as Jay. The financial documents confirmed what Mike had said. Foreclosure close. Debt piled up. Everything we had seen at that dinner was built on sand. The worst part was seeing Sable's recent message. I confronted Cole about his lack of ambition. You should have seen his face. I am definitely coming to the lake house. Told him it is just us girls. The girls' weekend was not a girls' weekend. It was a setup. I drove home shaking. Sable was packing, humming to herself. We need to talk, I said. She looked up. Now I am getting ready to go. I know about Jay at the lake house, I said. I know Tessa invited a guy for you to meet. I have seen the texts. I know about the bankruptcy, the affair, the whole thing. I know everything. Her face went pale. What are you talking about? I have seen the messages, Sable. Tessa's manipulation, your words, the lies. This is not in your head anymore. It is written down. She stammered, tried to blame Tessa, tried to say she was confused. You are my wife, I said. You are supposed to be on my side. Instead, you let someone else talk you into tearing me down and shopping for upgrades. She broke down crying. Part of me wanted to comfort her. Another part knew that if I did it too quickly, nothing would change. I am going to Mike's for the weekend, I said. You can go to the lake house and meet whoever Tessa lined up, or you can stay and think about whether this marriage means anything to you. Either way, I am done feeling like I am not enough. She grabbed my arm. Please, Cole, I love you. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill, I said. This was a choice, a series of choices. Now you need to decide what you want. At my brother's, I finally exhaled. Mike and his wife Lisa listened, let me vent, and did not sugarcoat anything. You know what is funny, Mike said as we worked on his car. You make more than I do some years. People pay a lot for a good plumber with a solid reputation. You have a waiting list. It was a simple comment, but it mattered. Sometimes you need someone outside the mess to remind you that your life has value. By Sunday, I was not ready to decide the future of my marriage, but I knew one thing, I was not going back to being treated like the backup plan. I barely checked my phone all weekend. When I finally looked, there were dozens of missed calls and texts from Sable. The last one said, coming home today, something happened at the lake house. We need to talk. When I walked into our house Sunday evening, she was sitting in the dark living room, still in the same clothes. Where have you been? She asked quietly. I've been calling and texting. At Mike's, I said. I told you that was where I was going. I thought you were just saying that, she muttered. She took a breath. I went to the lake house, I braced myself, and it was a setup, just like you said. She started crying again. Tessa invited this guy, a divorce attorney. She introduced us and basically announced I was looking to leave my dead-end husband for someone with better prospects. She made a joke of it. Everyone laughed. Is that how you described me to her? I asked. No. I never said it like that, Sable said, horrified. When I tried to correct her, she pulled me aside and said I needed to play the game if I wanted to upgrade. That is when it hit me what she was really doing. What did you do? I asked. I told her to stop. I told her I was not meeting men behind your back and that she needed to stop trying to ruin our marriage. How did she take that? Not well, Sable said. She got drunk and started ranting about how everyone judged her. Then she let it slip about the debt, the affair, everything, in front of everyone. 2 of the other women left. I started packing my bag, then Hunter showed up. He was not supposed to be there. He came in while she was yelling at me, Sable said. He just looked tired. He told everyone the truth, about the bankruptcy, about how they have been living beyond their means for years. About how she refused to stop spending. Sable shivered. It was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever seen. He pulled Sable aside later and said, do not be like us. We built our life trying to impress people who do not care. Now we have nothing real. Those words stuck with her, and with me. We talked for hours that night. Real, painful talk. Sable admitted she had let herself get pulled into Tessa's fantasy, into the idea that success was a house size and a vacation list. She admitted she had been embarrassed of my job, even though it paid for the life she took for granted. I let her voice be louder than yours, she said, and louder than my own common sense. I told her the truth too, that hearing my own wife call me a mistake hurt more than any insult from a stranger, that once respect is broken, love alone is not enough. We decided to try counseling, not as a promise that everything would be fine, but as a test of whether this marriage could be rebuilt on something real. Months went by. Counseling was not magic, but it was honest. The therapist helped us see how our backgrounds shaped our values. Sable grew up in an image-focused family, where success meant what you could show. I grew up with people who cared more about steady work and paid bills than about labels. Neither was wrong by itself, but together, unspoken, they were a collision waiting to happen. Tessa and Hunter divorced. Hunter moved into a small apartment with a used car and a lighter life. He handled his bankruptcy with more honesty than he had handled his success. Tessa moved in with her personal trainer, Jay, who dumped her once he realized the money was gone. She is now rebranding herself as a minimalism coach, which is its own kind of irony. Oddly enough, Hunter and I became friends. I fixed a plumbing issue at his new place. Afterward, we had beers. Without the mansion, he was just a tired guy who had run himself into the ground chasing a picture of success that never made him happy. My own business grew. I hired another plumber and an apprentice. I focused on more commercial contracts. It turned out my small life had a lot of room to grow on my terms. Sable left retail for a better job in marketing. More pay, more challenge, but for once the title was not what she talked about most. The real test came when one of her old college friends posted about her husband making partner at a law firm and buying a vacation home. The old Sable would have spiraled. This time she showed me the post, rolled her eyes and said, "Bet they are leveraged to the eyeballs. Want to watch that show you like?" We are not perfect. Old patterns still try to creep in, but now we name them when they show up. We do not let them sit in the dark. As for me, I no longer mumble when someone asks what I do. I built a business that keeps families' homes working and gives my guys a paycheck. There is nothing less than about that. A few days ago, Hunter texted me. Closed on a small condo within my actual budget this time. Having some plumbing issues with the guest bathroom. Paid work this time. I insist. I texted back. My rates have gone up, but I will bring the beer. Sometimes rock bottom is just the foundation you start over from, this time without the lies. Here are some of the lessons from this story. Lesson 1. When a partner lets someone else talk them into looking down on you, the problem is not the friend. It is the way your partner values you. Lesson 2. A simple, stable life you built honestly is worth more than a flashy life built on debt and appearances. Lesson 3. Comparison is not harmless when it turns into contempt. The moment we becomes, "I settled," there is real damage. Lesson 4. You can listen with empathy to someone's fears about money and status, but you do not have to accept being treated as less to ease their insecurity. Lesson 5. Counseling and hard conversations can help rebuild trust, but only if both people are willing to see their own part in the problem. Lesson 6. Success is not just what you show strangers. It is what you can hold on to when everything you use to impress people disappears. What would you have done when your spouse said they made a mistake marrying you because of your job? Would you stay and try to fix it, or walk away for good? And have you ever felt pressured to upgrade your life just to keep up with someone else's image? Share your thoughts in the comments.